Hello and welcome. Today we're going to look at a few bandishes composed by composers from more recent times to see how musical thought continues to take new and interesting shapes and forms while building upon the contributions of the masters of the past. Now, one common strand that is found in all of the bandishes that we're going to look at today is innovative approaches to rhythm work. So I'm going to present three examples of bandishes that start the mukhada of which starts at unconventional points in the rhythm cycle and arrives at the sum in very interesting ways and therefore challenges the performer to keep this rhythmic playfulness alive in his improvisation. So let's begin with a bandish by Pandit Shankar Abhyankar. Shankar Abhyankar ji is a sitar player and is hugely influenced in his musical thought by Pandit Ravi Shankar and Pandit Kumar Gandharva. And you might see the influences of these two greats in his many beautiful compositions. Now, today I'm going to sing for you a composition by Shankar Abhyankar ji in the rag Madhukams in Tal Teen Tal. Now, the thing about this composition is that the mukhada of the composition, Guni Jana Aaye Mandaraba, it begins from the seventh beat of Teen Tal, but it emphasizes the eighth beat. Now, the seventh beat is a slightly unconventional point from which to start a bandish, and it makes the mukhada really long because in the 16-beat Teen Tal, you now have from the 7th to the 16th, you have those many beats to cover before you arrive at the sum. So the bandish goes like this: da din din da da, guni jan aaye mandarva. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, guni jan aaye mandarva. The sum is on that va, on the last syllable of this line. But although it begins from the seventh beat, the stress, the emphasis is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go ni jan I. Right? It's on the eighth beat. This dynamic, this shifting of emphasis from an emphasized beat to an unemphasized beat is called syncopation. And bandishes like this one have this kind of syncopation built into them, and they challenge and invite the performer to bring this kind of syncopation into their improvisation as well. Right? The text of this bandish is also interesting. It describes a gathering of musicians who've come together to make music, to play with rag and tal. Guni jana aaye mandarba. Right? But notice, of course, keep your eye on the visualization and do notice how the bandish starts from the seventh beat, emphasizes the eighth, and then arrives interestingly at the sum and everything. And also notice as the sthai ends, आज गायक तंतकार सब मिले ताल सुरन की करत बरसात. In those lines, in that last line, the bandish skips the sum. So you have to be aware of the sum to really enjoy this bandish while listening to it. Notice how it skips the sum, that last line, and creates a very tricky, very interesting, very playful atmosphere. So here is my attempt at presenting this wonderful bandish by Pandit Shankar Abhyankar, Guni Jana Aaye Mandaraba. Re na da da na 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 गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आज गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आए मंदरुआ आज गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, 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 गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आज गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आज गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आज गायक दंतकार, आज गायक दंतकार, सब मेरा ताल सुरन की करत बरसात, गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आज गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आज गुनी जन आए मंदरवा, आज गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, मंदरुआ मंदरुआ, आज गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आज गायक दंतकार, आज गायक दंतकार, आज गायक दंतकार, सब मिल ताल सुरन की करत बरसात, गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आए मंदरवा, गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, लय लय सूर, लय सूर, लय सूर, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखावत, लय सूर, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखावत, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखावत, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखा, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखावत, गान तंत अलग अंग सब सुधराग रूप आनंद देत मन, गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, लय सूर, लय सूर, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखा, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखावत, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखा, दिखा लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखावत, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखावत, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखा, लय सूर, गुनी भेद दिखावत, गान तंत अलग अंग सब सुधराग रूप आनंद देत मन, गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आज गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आज गायक दंतकार, आज गायक दंतकार, सब मेरे ताल सुरन की करत बरसात, गुनी जन आए मंदरुआ, आए मंदरुआ, आए मंदरुआ, So, the second Bandish I'm going to present is a Bandish composed by Pandit Shri Krishna, also known as Babanrao Haldankar, a singer of the Agra Gharana who spent decades learning the intricate rhythm work, the beautiful wordplay of the Agra Gharana from the late Ustad Khadim Hussain Khan. Babanrao Haldankar was known to be an absolute master of rhythm work, and his command, his mastery over rhythm is very apparent in his compositions, in the many compositions that he composed. I'm going to try to sing one of them today. This is a tarana in Tal Ek Tal in Rag Darbari Kannada. Now, the thing about this tarana is that every line of the tarana starts from the second beat of Ek Tal, right? So, for example, din din da trakatuna kattin da trakadhina dim dim tanana. So you see, it starts after the sum. Kattin da trakadhina dim dim tanana tana dere na 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 dere na dim dim tanana. So that the clap, I'm clapping on the sum, and the beat after that, the second beat, is where the mukhada starts. So this thing that musicians and composers and singers often do of skipping the sum, of de-emphasizing the sum and emphasizing the beat after that, is called anaghat. And every line of this composition starts from the second beat. So the challenge it presents to the performer is you have to do your improvisations and conclude them at the second beat instead of on the sum like you're usually used to doing. Right? So, but while doing this, you also have to keep the bandish playful and interesting and beautiful. You can't let it turn into an acrobatical display of rhythm work. Right? So, I'm going to try to do that. Let me see how successful I am. Here is a tarana in Rag Darbari Kannada, composed by the late Pandit Babanrao Haldankar. Dim dim tana tana dere na tana na na dere na dim dim tana tana dere na tana na na dere na dim dim tana tana dere na tana na na dere na dim dim tana tana dere na tana na dere na dim dim tana tana dere na dim 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 tana tana dere na tana na dere na dim dim tana tana dere na tana na dere na da da re da ni da da ni tana der dani 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 dim dim tana tana dere na dim dim tana tana dere na tana dere na dim dim tana tana dere na dim da dim dim da dim dim da dim dim tana tana dim da dim dim da dim dim da dim da dim 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 tana tana dere na tana na dere na ta da re da ni dere na ta da re da ni dana dir dir dani 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 dim dim dana dana dir na dani dani dim dana na dana dir na dani 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 dim dim dana dana dir na dana na na dir na da da re dani da da ni dana dir dir dani 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 dim dim dana dana dir na dana na na dir na dim dim dana na dana dir na dim da da re dani da 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 dim da da re da ni da da ni dim da da re da ni da da ni dim da da re da ni da da ni dim da da re da ni da da ni der der da da re da da re da ni da re da ni da re da ni dim da re da ni da ni der da re da ni da re da ni da re da ni da re da ni gagana garom gana gadetta tidagada gadigana ha tidagada gadigana ha tidagada gadigana ha ni tanana tanana tere na tanana tere na dim dim tanana tanana tere ye dim da da re da ni da 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 ne a da dim da da re da ni re dim da da re da ni da da ni dim da da re da ni da da ni dim da da re da ni da da ni der der da da re da ni da re da ni da re da ni da re da ni dagana garum gana gadetta tidagada gadigana ha tidagada gadigana ha tidagada gadigana ha dim tanana tara dere na tanana na dere na da da re da ni da ni tana der der da ni dim dim tanana tana dere na tanana dere na dim dim tana dere dim dim tana dere dim dim tana dere na And finally, let me present this Bandish in Rag Bageshri by my own guru, Pandit Satyashil Deshpande. Satyashil ji is a disciple of Pandit Kumar Gandharv and is widely known for the eclectic and wide-ranging approach that he brings to Khayal singing. Now, in this composition, in Tal Ek Tal, Satyashil ji talks about the restless mind of the artist. He says, "Lage nahi jiya, mane nahi jiya." Yeah, but again, it starts from very unconventional, tricky point in the Ek Tal cycle. So it is a 2.5 beat mukhada. Sounds complicated, but hear me out. So in a 12 beat tal, a 2.5 beat mukhada means that he begins from the 10.5th beat. So the Bandish starts from between the 10th and 11th beats, like this. Din din da trakatu na katin dha lage na. Yeah? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dha dhage na din. That's the mukhada. Din din da trakatu na katin dha lage na. Jiya lage na. That's the mukhada. Alright? And again, like in the other bandishes that we just heard, this bandish invites the performer, challenges the performer to pick up to conclude his improvisations at that point, at that tricky point, and to maintain the playfulness and the particular swing and the lilt that this unconventional rhythm work built into the Bandish creates. But Satyashilji's Bandishes never allow the innovation in Rag and Tal to overpower the lilting songness, the song-like quality of his Bandishes. So in this Bandish, he says, like I said, Lage nahi jiya, mane nahi jiya, the restless state of the performer. Man uthat jaye basat. His mind doesn't settle in one place. It wants to see all sorts of beauty. But to make all of this sound intuitive and interesting, he turns the text of this Bandish into a very intuitive tihai. So he says, Man uthat jaye basat kahin kahin kahin. And that kahin 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 turns into a lovely tihai and concludes at that 10.5 point in the cycle and arrives at the sum. Yeah. In the Antara of the Bandish, Satyashilji says, Gaan gaat yahi hot. He finds that in his own singing, this is what happens. Bikhar bikhar banat jaat. You construct, a Khayal singer, an improvising musician, constructs by scattering. Bikhar bikhar banat jaat. Srijan ki yahi reet. This is how creativity happens. But does it happen with everybody? Every time? No. It happens like this. Kahin, kahin, kahin. So here is this Bandish in Rag Bhageshri, composed by Pandit Satyashil Deshpande.
Re na da na 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 da na da na dana yada ana na ena na da lage na jiya lage na jiya lage na jiya na jiya lage na jiya lage na jiya kahe lage na jiya lage na jiya jiya kahe lage na jiya lage na jiya lage jiya lage na jiya lage na jiya lage na jiya lage na manna jiya lage na jiya manna jiya lage na jiya manna jiya lage na jiya jiya kahe lage na jiya lage jiya jiya lage na jiya jiya lage na jiya manna jiya lage na jiya manna jiya man उठत जाए बसत कहीं 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 लागे ना जी या लागे ना जी माने ना जिया माने ना जिया लागे ना जिया माने ना जिया मन उठत जाय बसत कहीं 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 लागे ना मन उठत मन मन उठत ये मन उठत जाय मन उठत जाय मन उठत जाय मन उठत ये मन उठत जाय बसत कहीं 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 लागे ना लागे ना मन उठत जाय बसत कहीं 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 लागे ना जिया लागे ना गान गाता गान गाते हैं होते ये गान गा ये गान गा ये गान गात यही होत गान गात यही होत बिखर बिखर बनता जाता बिखर बिखर बनता जाता बिखर बिखर बनता जाता सृजन की यही रीत कहीं 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 लागे ना जिया लागे ना जी मानना जिया लागे ना जी मानना जिया मन उठत जाय बसत कहीं 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 लागे ना जी मानना जिया मन उठत जाय बसत कहीं 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 लागे ना ये लागे ना जिया लागे ना जिया